Hi, I'm Anna and I'm the manager of Older People's Day Services and Extra Care. We began 2020 optimistically, looking to build on our numbers within day services and extra care. The year started well, with Pinfold raising money for the Alzheimer's Society. We walked on a cold winter's night around Salford to complete the memory walk. Then all plans went out of the window when the coronavirus pandemic hit. As within all services across Persona, we had to quickly adapt and work very differently from the old norm. Within day services, we began the very difficult task of whistling down to 6 customers per day. This proved really challenging, even when looking at the most vulnerable customers we had. For those customers who could no longer attend, we offered home visits, and these were gratefully accepted. On the visits, the staff walked, talked, shopped and laughed. I'm now going to hand you over to Angela, who will tell you more about the home visits that she completed.
Well, in March, when the coronavirus arrived and we went into lockdown, my job role dramatically changed. I started doing home visits, walking around Whitefield and Prestwich, going to customers who were isolated and just needed some company, making sure they had all the essentials in, like bread and milk. Sometimes I just used to nip out to the shop and get the milk and bread for them. The customers were always pleased to see me, and one gentleman used to always say, "I really look forward to you coming round." We used to read the daily news, because I'd buy a newspaper on my rounds, and we'd do the crossword and just have a chat generally, because like a lot of people were anxious and you had to explain why you had your mask on and your PPE, so they didn't feel anxious. Other people, I just used to go around and sit with them. One lady, I used to sit in the garden, and her daughter said, "That's lovely, sitting outside. My mum doesn't sit out so much." And a lot of these customers, they weren't the customers from Pinfold. There was customers that I'd never met before. And I didn't know them, they didn't know me, but it didn't take us long to become friends. And they really enjoyed me going round. When I got home at night, I used to feel really good because I had made a difference to these people's lives and they weren't as much isolated and not as stressed as they was before I started going to see them.
Along with the home visits, we also devised and delivered activity packs, and these proved really popular as it gave customers a purpose to their day. Customers who we didn't see looked forward to our weekly telephone chats, and we would always have a catch-up about the things that had been going on. The teams at the centre called upon all their skills and experience to ensure that the activities they were delivering were not repetitive and were reaching out to all of our customers with different attention spans. We continue to participate in annual events such as VE Day and enjoy joining in with the Persona Scarecrow competition and the virtual bake-off, with Pinfold even being crowned the judges' winner. During this year, my team have gone above and beyond all expectations. They have worked within different services across Persona, worked different hours and walked the length and breadth of the borough. Concern led to people not getting a hot meal, and that's when Persona Roots was born. Now over to Angela to give you some more information on that.
Persona Roots is a food delivery service. When it came into force in March, when the first UK lockdown came in, it's a ready meal delivery service to help people who are shielding and isolated. We work closely with Cappuccino's Bistro, who used to cook the meals fresh every day, with simple heating instructions, and then they would be delivered with help from the Learning Disabilities Day Service. It was quite popular as our day services were greatly reduced, and some of the customers would be ringing us for the meals. The phones were really busy on some days. We started making a lot of relationships with regular customers. They would phone us probably to have a quick chat as well, because we're feeling quite isolated, as well as placing their orders. So we got to know these people a lot more.
Within Extra Care, the schemes went into lockdown in March, and the staff have had to work very closely with 6 Town Housing. It has been very challenging for them too, as a lot of our tenants within Extra Care have struggled to understand that they are unable to now leave their properties due to the lockdown, and this has proved very challenging. To try and alleviate loneliness, staff visited tenants in their apartments, took them for exercise around the grounds, and also turned their hands to hairdressing. This was particularly important to a couple of our tenants who were missing out on their weekly visits to the hairdressers, and by having rollers put in their hair, it made them feel really good, which was a really good reflection of our caring value. In the midst of the pandemic, we recruited our new deputy manager, who has been a great addition to our team. As the year has progressed, so has our knowledge of care control, and we have recently introduced the rostering system with great feedback from staff.
We use a device called Care Control. So it's like a little pocket phone, but it has apps on it where you can go into each app and, like, say if you give medication or prepared a meal or a general note,
Personal care.
next of kin details, all sorts like that.
Okay. And were you familiar with it prior to going into your role at Peachman?
Oh no.
No, I was terrified of it. I looked at it and nearly threw it.
I think we both did.
What was the learning process behind it? How did you get round that fear?
Well, basically, you could kind of mess about on the phones and try and do anything. You couldn't do anything wrong on the phone. And the longer we've been using it, the more au fait we've become with it. So it's a lot easier. You can't actually make any mistakes on the phone.
And what sort of support did you get during the learning process?
We got a lot.
We got a lot of support from our other colleagues, our managers, and they just let us use the phones and go into different apps and show us what was what. So I think the more you do it hands-on rather than read about it, the easier it becomes.
I'm really proud of my team and how they have adapted to their new ways of working, and even though they are two services, they have often come together as one. A great example of this was when we completed our Feel Good video, and this was a real good staff morale boost. So far, touch wood, we have not had any reported cases of COVID-19 within Extra Care or day services. We have already started planning towards the future. Within Extra Care, we are looking at recruiting more staff, which will allow us to build on our care packages. Within day services, we are going to be working more flexibly and running sessional activities, which will allow more customers to attend for longer hours. Bring on 2021, as I know my staff can handle whatever is thrown at them because they are awesome and I am so proud of them.